Hola a tots, això és Efect, jugant amb la partida que estem fent amb la comandant Shepard. Estem al capítol 25 d'aquesta sèrie i estem en el planeta Tuntau, on hem vingut explorant, bàsicament. No ens hi ha enviat ningú, però hem trobat una cosa interessant. En el capítol anterior hem visitat aquí una base amagada, on hem trobat una sèrie de pirates liderats per un turià que es deia Arctus. Hem saquejat aquesta estructura, aquesta base, hem matat tots els pirates i hem recuperat una armadura Wrex, que sembla que és una armadura familiar i que segurament el nostre krogan, el nostre convidat krogan, tindrà alguna cosa a veure amb això. Jo crec que aquesta armadura ens l'hagués demanat que l'haguéssim vingut a buscar el mateix Wrex, però com que no hem arribat a parlar amb ell prou sovint, per dir-ho així, i hem vingut abans nosaltres al planeta, doncs hem aconseguit aquesta armadura i, per dir-ho així, farem la missió sense que ens l'hagin demanat, però la farem igualment. Ara el que farem és acabar d'explorar un parell d'ubicacions que queden aquí en aquest planeta. Aquestes extensions tan planes i tan grans em fan mala espina. Són zones on hi solen haver cucs aquells. Per tant, més val que no ens hi entretinguem, perquè no tinc massa ganes de combatre aquests cucs. Intentarem anar a buscar directament les restes que hi hagin, si és que vol pujar aquest maco. Sí, va pujant. No sé si pujarà del tot. Ha de pujar, perquè hem de travessar aquests turons, aquesta zona accidentada. L'hem de travessar per anar a buscar. Ara, ja la travessem. Oh, quin canvi de llum més espectacular. Està molt ben fet això, I allà baix hi ha una estructura, una piràmide. Allò és el que anem a buscar. Però compte, perquè també està en una zona plana i no m'enfio ni un pèl de que no hi hagi algun monstre d'aquells. No m'enfio ni un pèl. Intentarem anar ràpid, no entretenir-nos. És una càpsula Saren. Vale, els escrits d'una matriarca. No ens entretindrem, no vaig en aquella piràmide, sinó que directament anirem a buscar aquestes restes, marcarem aquestes restes i marxem, però cagant llets. Aquí no ens hi parem ni un minut. Tornem a travessar aquesta zona muntanyosa. Ja estem a dalt. Aquí tenim minerals. Baixarem a buscar-los, perquè ens agafen bastant de pas. Estan aquí baix. Aquí està el dipòsit. A veure què és això. Mercuri. Vinga, doncs mercuri, guanyem diners i seguim. Hem de recordar que en el nostre saqueig d'aquella estructura dels pirates hem trobat una gran quantitat d'objectes, d'armes que haurem de repartir. Però això ja ho farem quan tornem a la Normandia. Ara, de moment, limitem-nos a baixar i a buscar aquestes restes que queden. Deu ser una sonda o una cosa així. Ja està la sonda, ja la veig.
En route.
Doncs anem a desactivar-la, o el que sigui, a recuperar-la. A veure, hem de buscar el moment per entrar. No. Merda. Ja no ho faig. Bueno, doncs la farem amb omnigel. I ja estem. Ara doncs ja podem tornar a Normandia. Hem explorat aquest sistema que ens faltava. Entrem un moment per veure si realment està tot explorat. Jo crec que sí. Vale, era el sistema Fènix d'aquest cúmul d'Argos Ro. Vale, està tot explorat. Bé, abans de seguir farem això que dèiem. Baixaré a baix. I parlarem amb Wrex d'aquesta armadura, que si bé no sé si serà seva, o bé és seva, o bé ell la podrà utilitzar.
So, we've got Saren on the run.
Sí, està
It
fugint.
won't be long now. Saren's good, but I'm better.
Good. He's rotten. To the core. I could tell as soon as I met
Ah,
him.
el coneix.
Why didn't you tell me this sooner?
I would have if I thought it was important.
I think I'd like to hear about it just the same.
This was a while ago. A bunch of mercs were bragging about a job out near the edges of the terminus systems. They said it paid well and the boss was never around to ride them. They said he was looking for more men, too. So I checked it out.
Ah,
I didn't know Saren was openly recruiting mercs.
It wasn't that open, and he only showed his face once. We'd been raiding ships in the area for months when we took out this massive cargo freighter. Our biggest haul yet. I was on board checking bodies for valuables, looking for some extra credits. That's when I saw him.
What did Saren want with the ship?
I don't know what he wanted. He was just moving through the ship, watching. A couple of the mercs called him by name, but he never spoke to them. Never spoke to anyone. I had a really bad feeling about him, so I got the hell out. Didn't even wait to get paid.
què devia buscar?
What kind of cargo was the freighter carrying? What was Saren after?
I don't know. All I saw on that ship was food and medical supplies. There were some basic weapons, but nothing big. If there was anything of value on that ship, I didn't see it. That's why I didn't mention it sooner.
Whose ship was it?
There was a Volus trading vessel. Big one. Lots of guards. But they were no match for us.
That's the only time you saw him?
Yeah. Didn't even know who he was. Still wouldn't if I hadn't joined up with you. But my instincts were right. Every other merc on that mission turned up dead within a week. Every damn one.
Els va matar tots. Els va matar tots. Perquè no parlessin.
So long, Wrex.
Shepard.
Un moment, no estem amb aquest home.
Shepard?
I found this armor. Does it belong to you?
Let me see. Damn. This is it. Hard to believe my ancestors wore this piece of crap. But at least it's back where it belongs. Thanks, Shepard. I might be starting to like you after all.
You getting soft on me, Wrex?
Just because I like you doesn't mean I wouldn't kill you.
Vale, doncs sí, era una missió seva. Veus? L'armadura familiar. Ella ens ho hagués demanat, però la vam trobar abans que ens ho demanés. A veure si aquest té alguna missió.
Commander, good to see you.
You've been with C-Sec a while. Have you seen much action?
Well, not as much as you, but yeah, I've seen some interesting things.
I bet you have. Anything in particular that stands out?
I remember this Solarian geneticist I was sent to investigate. That case was a bit disturbing.
Un genetista.
What happened? Why were you investigating him?
I was tasked with tracking black market trade on the Citadel. Most of it harmless, nothing I needed to pursue. But during the course of my investigation, I noticed an increase in the trade of body parts, organs mostly. We usually get a few of those, but not the numbers I was seeing. We weren't sure if there was a new black market lab or if some freak was harvesting organs from citizens.
You've seen this before on the Citadel?
Every so often, some lab sells unwanted parts through the black market, but they're not as bad as the psychos. I remember this one L-Corps diplomat we caught in my first year on the job. He was hacking people up and selling their organs. Had the station in a bit of a panic.
Un L-Corps.
But this case wasn't that clear-cut. Turns out there was more going on than we first realized.
So how did you figure out what was happening?
First, we got a hold of a sample and ran DNA tests. The weird thing was, the match led us to a Turian who was still alive and was very convinced he'd never lost his liver. After a bit of digging, I discovered this Turian worked briefly for Dr. Salion, the geneticist. So I went to his lab hoping to find evidence of cloned organ development, but there was nothing. No Solarian hearts, no Turian livers, not one krogan testicle.
You're kidding, right? Why would anyone want krogan testicles?
Some krogan believe that testicle transplants can increase their virility, counteract the effects of the genophage. It doesn't work, but that doesn't stop them from buying. They'll pay up to 10,000 credits each. That's 40,000 for a full set. Somebody's making a killing out there.
What'd you do about the geneticist?
I brought in some of his employees for interrogation, to see if I could get them to talk. While I was interviewing one of them, I came across something suspicious.
You mean threatening? Was that really necessary?
Maybe, maybe not. Either way, it paid off. One of my detainees started bleeding profusely during the interview. We offered to patch him up, and he got frantic, freaked out. I ordered a full exam to find out what was going on. Our medics found incisions all over his body, some of them fresh. That was our big break. These people weren't just Dr. Salion's employees. They were test tubes. Walking, living test tubes.
És molt macabre, això.
He was growing parts inside these people?
Exactly. He cloned their organs right inside their own bodies. Then he harvested them and sold them off. Most of the victims were poor. He'd pay them each a small percentage of the sales, but only if the organs were good. Sometimes an organ wouldn't grow properly, so he'd just leave it in them. Most of them were a mess, but only on the inside, hidden so nobody could see it.
Molt, molt macabre.
I hope he got what he deserved.
That's the worst part. We never caught him.
Why not? What the hell happened?
He ran, blew his lab, grabbed some of his employees, and headed for the nearest space dock. By the time I found out, his ship was already leaving. He threatened to kill his hostages if we tried to stop him.
But you went after him anyway, right?
I ordered Citadel Defense to shoot him down, but C-Sec headquarters countermanded my order. They were worried about the hostages, worried about civilian casualties if the ship was destroyed so close to the Citadel. I told them those hostages were dead anyway. He just used them to make more organs. But they wouldn't listen.
It's not worth the risk. You pursue the vessel and disable it. That's the best choice.
They sent the military after him, but he got away just the same. Yes, they did. I went to Palin and told him what I thought of him and his policies. He said if I didn't like it, I could quit. Well, I almost did. All they had to do was disable that ship, stop him from running. Maybe the hostages die, maybe they don't, but at least we stopped the bastard responsible for it all.
If you don't care about the fate of those hostages, then you're no better than he is. You're just a terrorist with a badge.
Yeah, maybe you're right. It doesn't make it any easier, but I see your point. Just wish I could have stopped him. That's all.
Do you have any idea what happened to Dr. Salion?
I sent out feelers from time to time, hoping to find something. I thought I'd found him a while back. He changed ships and changed his name to Dr. Hart, his idea of a joke, I guess. I told the military, but they weren't convinced it was him. I got the transponder frequency for his new ship, but I just can't get anyone to check it out.
Això és cosa nostra.
I'll check out the coordinates when I get a chance.
I was hoping you'd say that. But Commander, take me with you when you go. If it's Saleon, I want to be there when you find him.
Veus? Una missió més. Interessant, a més, Ara què diu l'Ashley?
Commander?
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
Sure. I was just watching some mail from home.
Oh, before I go, we saw Caden in a news vid about the Normandy. He's cute. Later, sis.
Let's pretend this never happened.
Are you interested in the Lieutenant, Chief?
No, ma'am. And anyway, Scuttlebutt says he's already sweet on someone. What's up? You didn't come by to eavesdrop on family mail.
Your family seems to be important to you.
Yeah, we've always been close. Me and my sisters especially. With Dad on duty so much, I had to help Mom raise them.
Did your father serve with the fleet?
Yeah, took any crap posting he could get that offered space time. You know what? He worked his ass off trying to get recognized, but he never made it above serviceman 3rd class. He was real proud when I made Chief. First thing he did was salute.
What about your mother? You haven't mentioned her.
You must know what military wives are like. Strong because they have to be, able to raise kids while Dad's away on a 6-month cruise. She has a degree in planetary geology. She and Dad both wanted to see new worlds. She gave up her career to raise us, though.
Where did you grow up?
All over. Same as you, I expect. We transferred a half a dozen times before I finished grade school. You go where personnel command sends you, right? I guess that's why I'm so tight with my sisters. We'd have to leave all our friends every 2 or 3 years.
You have more than one sister? Sounds like a big family.
Yeah, I'm the oldest, then Abby, then Lynn. Sarah's the youngest. She's still in high school. With 4 girls, Dad used to say he felt more outnumbered at home than on maneuvers.
I was an only child, but I get the idea. At least one of my parents was always on duty.
Yeah, military families, eh? With schedules like that, it's a wonder we ever have kids anymore. Things were tense between Sarah and me for a while. Then we bonded.
Sounds like a story. Feel like sharing?
Sarah got herself a boyfriend who wanted to go faster than she did, Mike. I didn't think he was a bad kid, just pushy. Lynn would send me these worried vid mails, and I'd tell her to relax.
Where were you when this was going on?
I was on active duty. Sarah's graduating high school this year. This was only a couple of years back. They were on Amaterasu. At the time, I was assigned to Chernobog. Same cluster, but a dozen LY away. Close enough to talk regularly, too far to make it back in an emergency. I couldn't afford a fast packet flight.
If he really liked her, he wouldn't be pushy.
Yeah, of course. If he didn't ask at all, I'd wonder if he thought Sarah was ugly. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Mike thought they'd go for a romantic walk in the woods, because he figured it was past time they did the deed. She levered Mike face first into a tree and left. Didn't have a scratch on her. Good thing Mom and Dad had us all learn some kind of self-defense. I took emergency leave and walked Sarah to school for a few days.
Why didn't you tell the police?
She said it wouldn't solve the real problem, and she and Mike would both become household names. It was a small colony. I said it was her call to make, that we should let her do it her way. Mom was pretty pissed about that.
You said all of your sisters learned self-defense?
Lynn did pistol practice, but didn't like it. She's kind of nervous. Sarah took Aikido. Abby decided to learn the sword. She always was a little weird. Likes big skirts and tops you have to tie her into. They do great things to her figure, though.
So, what did you learn?
One of Dad's friends taught me Marine hand to hand.
You traveled all the way home to walk your sister to school.
It was only a dozen light years, like a day's cruise. It's not like I was going to Earth or something. My last day out, Mike was waiting for us. Sarah had told her friends, so everyone at school knew what he did. He wasn't happy. I wanted to snap him in half, but Sarah gave me this look, this let me handle it, I need to do this alone look. She kept her cool, God bless her, as he screamed in her face. She just let him vent. Then he tried to punch her. I swear, she just flowed around him. Next thing I knew, he's face down on the sidewalk, and there's blood everywhere.
That's unbelievable. Sarah must be as good as you.
Better. I'm more or less a straight-up puncher. When he swung, she wasn't there anymore, and he fell. She helped him stop the bleeding and had me call an ambulance. She told the paramedics he fell. Before they took him to the hospital, Mike touched Sarah's arm. I thought he was gonna end up on the ground again. But he hung his head, whispered, "I'm sorry," and started crying. And she hugged him. The Williams women are a decisive bunch, Commander. We do things when we're ready. Not before, not after.
Your sister's something else. But you didn't mention your father at all. Was he on deployment?
Dad always wanted to serve in space, but he wanted us to have real ground under our feet. He'd say, space is beautiful, but you can't raise a family there. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. All times I've enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me and alone. For always roaming with a hungry heart, much have I seen and known. Cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments.
I never thought I'd hear you reciting poetry.
Just because I can drill you between the eyes at 100 meters doesn't mean I can't like sensitive stuff. Just don't spread it around. Ulysses was my dad's favorite poem. Every time he shipped out, he recorded me reading it. He had a dozen versions when he retired.
Does he still like it?
I sure hope so. I read it to his grave every time I go home. Dad passed on a few years back. He's probably still watching, though.
You mean from wherever we go after death?
Dead on, Skipper. He's with God now. That's not a problem with you, is it? That I believe in God?
Bueno, haurem de ser una mica afins.
You know that old saw, there's never an atheist in a foxhole? Well, I've been in a lot of foxholes.
Yeah, I guess you have. I've met a few people who were really weirded out by my faith. Because I work in space, I can't believe in a higher power? Jeez. Hello, have you people looked out the window? How can you look at this galaxy and not believe in something? I should get back to my duties. Didn't mean to take up so much of your time.
Dismissed, Chief.
Ma'am.
Ens ha explicat moltes coses, Ara coneixem molt més de la seva família. Moltes coses ens ha explicat l'Ashley. Aquí baix hi havia la Tali. A veure si la Tali també ens explica més coses.
Oh, hello, Shepard.
Are you okay?
I don't know. Your ship is amazing, and your crew's been really great to me, especially your chief engineer. But I just sort of feel out of place. The Normandy runs so smooth it feels like we're not even moving, and the engines are so quiet. How do you sleep at night?
The silence wakes you up?
Back on the flotilla, the last thing you want to hear is silence. It means an engine's died or an air filter shut down. I guess you don't have to worry about that here. But old habits die hard. But it's more than just the silence. This ship feels so empty. It's like half the crew is missing. Back home, I couldn't wait to go on my pilgrimage. I couldn't wait to get away from the crowds. Now that I'm out here, I kind of miss them.
Sometimes we don't appreciate what we have till it's gone.
That's true. I'm starting to wonder if that's what the pilgrimage is really about. It's given me a whole new perspective on my people and our culture. You know, there's always a few who go on their pilgrimages and never return. I always assumed something bad happened to them. But maybe they just wanted a different life.
You do plan to return to the migrant fleet, right?
I could never abandon my people, Shepard. I will go back eventually. But we have to stop Saren first. Otherwise, I might not have a home to go back to.
I should go.
Vale.
See you later.
Vale, doncs hem parlat una miqueta amb els tripulants. El que jo volia que era interessant era donar-li l'armadura a en Wrex. Suposo que se la podrà posar. Ah, que per cert, ara no sé per què torno a pujar. O sigui, jo el que volia era repartir una mica... Volia repartir una mica l'equipament. Bé, sí, vull repartir l'equipament, però ho faré fora de càmera perquè no sigui tan pesat. Ja millor que deixem aquest capítol aquí i en el següent, un cop hagi repartit l'equipament, continuarem, pujarem a dalt i triarem el nostre pròxim destí. Així doncs, fins al pròxim capítol.